share very quickly some sketches that he had. So let me pull that up and hopefully you all will be able to see it from my end. Give me 1 second here. And these are just sketches. He wanted me to let everybody know. He didn't digitalize anything yet because he kind of wanted some general feedback from the group. And so you can kind of share in the chat box, but there's really 2 different images he's playing from. And he really is a great digital artist. So you'll be amazed when he actually puts this digitally, because again, these are just his sketches. He is pretty talented. So he's done a couple of shirts for our local shelters, which have been great. Okay, I think I pulled them all up. So let me go ahead and share so you can see. Hopefully you can see them. All right, so he has a couple of different... Can I ask folks to mute maybe while I'm
trying to find out who that might be.
Okay, awesome. No problem. I just want to make sure everybody can hear. Okay, so let me go ahead and see if you all can you see that okay? I'm pulling up one kind of basic sketch he had. So what he'll do is he makes his digital art very sleek, and just to give you an idea, it'll be sleek and stylish. When he sketches, it's kind of a little more basic, right? Just because he's getting his ideas down. So one of the things he's been playing with, and he's kind of gone back and forth with a number of ideas, but is taking the A in America and the H in the home and making it actually to look like a home. So digitally, he would play with the colors in such a sense that you're really going to get the shape of a silhouette of a home that makes out the words America and home. And so that was one thing he played with. Let me pull up some of the other ones. Give me a second. Sorry, I have to pull them up like this because I don't know. So this was kind of fun. He was talking about on the back of one of the shirts, doing something graphically with the sun. And already in our campaign, Jeff, you had symbols for each of our pillars, right, that have been identified. And so he talked about, you know, kind of this idea of playing with the sun. He's playing with kind of text digitally when he does it. And it's turning out pretty cool from what he's shown me, but actually taking those symbols to in each of the sun rays. So that might be something in the back as well. One thing Valen is really good about is saying, you know, sometimes I'm like, well, do you want to put the words out and spell things? And he's like, no, Mom, right? The whole idea of a graphic t-shirt is it invites people into conversation. So they see something and they're like, oh, cool, right? They know what you're getting at, but then they start asking you questions. What is that? It's another form of lobbying in a sense, right? And our youth are really pretty good about, you know, using graphics in so many ways to really pull people together. And then he kept playing with some different ideas, emphasizing the now, doing some sort of heart, again, using the America and the home, even if that's on the back of the shirt of some sort. But he wanted to get a general feel, if you guys like the idea of playing with the A and the H as an America and home. You know, he spends a lot of time when he starts to digitalize things, and it comes out really clean, very sleek and modern. That's kind of his style. But I just wanted to share with you all because we're very excited. And the other piece of this that I can tell you that he has in mind is also making stickers out of it, right? So whatever symbols we end up picking, we can actually have stickers. So the youth nowadays, their water bottles are covered with stickers. So if you've gone to a college campus, my son is now in college, right? Laptops are covered with stickers. Their bottles are covered with stickers for movements, which are really cool. So taking some of the designs, actually making them into stickers. We have ideas also to maybe do some wristbands. So you might have seen, you know, we have wristbands that we use here for movements, even locally on our college campus for Black Lives Matter, right, for many different causes. And so doing something of that too. And so I think the creativity is going to be really fun. And so we just wanted to give you all kind of a general sense with that. And then I also have a poem to share as well. And so I guess, you know, these are just some of the ideas that we have. Okay, thank you. I'm getting a lot of different messages in here, so I appreciate that, and I'll pass them on to my son. And I think the next step is he didn't want to go too far with all the digital stuff completely until he heard from you all basically, right? Like, okay, we like this kind of draft idea that I'm playing with. But I think it's going to turn out really cool. I have full confidence in him. He actually designed a shirt for our local family emergency shelter, and it helped raise over $14,000 for our shelter with his shirts. I mean, it was pretty cool. And I mean, he's, this is 16 at the time, he's 17 now, but pretty cool stuff. So I'm excited, and he really wants to get involved and help us with our campaign. What's been really neat is seeing him get involved and do this. My daughter, who's 11, now she's determined to get involved. So it was so cute. Last night she was designing bookmarks and all kinds of things. So who knows what's going to come out of their creative pool. So here is my poem that I wanted to share with everyone as well. So thank you for that opportunity to kind of give you a sense with that. So this poem is called The Soul of Jazz. Jazz sings, housing is a human right. Let me tell you about jazz. Ba-da-ba-ba! Woo! Not the beautiful musical genre, but a beautiful little girl. A girl with sun-kissed skin and curls, beautiful melodies with emotion, a magic potion, love scats in rhymes, soulful blues and ragtime. I met Jazz in the velvet thick of the Floridian woods. She had scraped knees and gentle pleas, asking for a slice of my orange. When I saw Jazz, I wanted to give her trees full of orange blossoms, fresh loaves of bread. As we sat together, she told me how opioids had her father dead. Her mother depressed, trying her best, deprived of education and basic rest. They lived in tents, plastic tarps, filled and made of duct tape, realities of starvation and rape. Jazz shared that they lived in the wild, thunderous storms, deadly heat, no place to retreat. In Florida, our weather is not mild. And although Jazz was only a child, her eyes carried the weight of poverty. Her heart sings trauma on repeat, trauma on repeat, trauma on repeat, trauma. She witnessed her mom beat, crimson on the ground like raw meat, falling into fetal position. She witnessed, she experienced, she cried. Jazz had to improvise early on in life. On repeat, trauma, her mom breaking every type of myth that homeless people are lazy. Her mom worked herself hard, calloused hands, backache, 3 laborsome jobs that could not pay the bills. Jazz witnessed her mom endure pain from strange men, the same men who did things to Jazz that she could not understand, things that she should not have ever had to understand, things that 7 years old. 7 years old. No child should have to weather the weather, make blankets out of palmetto leaves, drink water from muddy streams, take showers in gas station sinks, only fearful to be screamed at, dreaming of a hot shower, dreaming of basic power, to have light, just a little, to do homework, she says. Moonlight is gorgeous, but it's not bright enough to write. She whispers while telling stories that millions tell, wearing scars, and each scar a story in itself, only to be silenced by our world, swept by bulldozers, criminalized, institutionalized. It is beyond time to realize. Homelessness has no place here. Urban, suburban, rural tears, precious lives taken. We must awaken our souls. Heartbeats pound on streets against freezing concrete. Cry for water in exhausting heat, dehydration throughout our nation. walk and crawl with blistered feet, Jazz plays on. She improvises to breathe, trying to survive, and every child deserves to thrive. We are the people. We must disrupt this daunting narrative, bring unified rhythm to our march. It is time for us to bring America home now. Lack of affordable housing, lack of a fair living wage is a public health crisis. Environmental injustice is racial equity, is gender equity, racism, heterosexism, ableism, xenophobia, linguistic oppression, religious bias. It is the continuous song of endemic violence, colonial patriarchy, passed down through generations in our star-spangled nation. Housing is a human right. Jazz, beautiful Jazz, should not have to have this plight. She deserves love. She deserves light. Millions of children, youth, brothers, sisters, humankind, rewind. Open your heart. Awaken your eyes. It is time for us to rise. America, the beautiful. Be beautiful. Be better. Be loving and just. And we, the people, let us agitate and advocate, educate and elevate. Remember that we are one, stardust and sun. Remember our shared humanity and listen to Jazz. Feel Jazz. She sings both pain and hopeful rays. She reminds us to collectively build brighter days, to come together in community, to build and bend an arc toward justice, to truly bring America home now.
President, thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. This place is a place where we will celebrate all kinds of beauty, and no better way to celebrate beauty than through the arts. Thank you for your wonderful poem. We're gonna close now. We're gonna start with Joel Siegel, and then we'll go to Sue Watliff Phillips, and I'll have the final word. So Joel, in a couple of minutes or less, you guys, let's close it out, and let's put a top on this very, very amazing day that we've shared. So Joe?
Yes, Rajni, that was beautiful. You didn't see me, but I took out my guitar and I started jamming, which I've never done before. And I hope I can perform with you sometime. That was beautiful. I know you experienced homelessness too when you were a child. So I felt every word, every note. You did bring tears to my eyes. Just want to tell you that. What I want to say is it's probably one of the happiest days of my life. I kind of gave up on the whole idea of ending homelessness, and Donald and Sue and NCH and everyone who been on this Zoom call has certainly brought that spark, back in me to dream, of a better future and fairness and equity and love. I'm just going to close by saying, I think the majority of people are with us. I think they share our view. There are going to be people who will say, homeless people brought it on to themselves. But in my experiences, when you show elected officials and you get people who are formerly homeless or homeless in the press or in art, it'll change their mind. I had the great pleasure to write a movie called Sicko with Michael Moore. to show the reality of uninsured people. Because when I was in Congress working on this issue, people used to say, Joel, can't people go to the emergency room? And I would say, no, I sleep on a machine at night. I can't get that in an emergency room. It costs $4,000. So I did this movie with Michael Moore called Sicko, and that movie did more to wake the Congress up and the American people than anything I've ever done politically, because people got to see the pain of being uninsured. Similarly, I think the more we can get people who are formerly homeless or are homeless in the spotlight, in the media, in town hall meetings, in press conferences, in the cinema, then that's when we're going to win. And then lastly, we're going to come up with our plan to end homelessness and poverty. We're going to work that plan. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. We can't do it without you. But what matters is growing this movement to the point we have so much political power that we will tell our elected officials what we want. Thank you. God bless everybody.
Thank you, Joel. Sue?
I want to thank Rajni also. What an incredible piece of work. I hope that we will use that as one of the additional days for the Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week, maybe also at the Homeless Memorial. I think it's a very important piece for people to share. To all of you, we are the beloved community. And so the Roman Empire fell because of love. And I think that as we continue to grow the circle of love and of wanting to love and treat others the way that we want to be treated, that we will bring America home now. Thank you all. You are all incredible. Please stay involved. We need you all.
Thank you, Sue, and Joel, and everyone else who's had the opportunity to speak today. We have grown today from the collective voices, the wisdom, the compassion, the art that we just heard. What an amazing poem. And I thank you all for being here today. This was a long day, but we got to do a lot of long days if we're going to end homelessness in America. What you've seen from the very beginning, we took you through the possibilities of what can happen if people come together around a common cause. We saw the Housing Now March and Kids Day on Capitol Hill. All of those were ideas at the beginning, and then they grew into movements, and finally they resulted in change. And that's what Bring America Home Now is about. It's about change. It's about us saying, finally, enough is enough. We can't continue to walk through the streets of America and not recognize those that are suffering, and those that are suffering the most, and those are people that are homeless. So Martin Luther King Jr. said in one of his last speeches, we can no longer be satisfied. We can't be satisfied with people sleeping under bridges or in abandoned buildings or in abandoned cars. We can't be dissatisfied. We have to be dissatisfied that in the richest country in the history of the world, homelessness continues to grow. So all of us have a role in ending it. Today was the true launch of this campaign. This is when we got you involved. And the only way we can change it, you can't sit on the sidelines. We need all of you to do all the things we talked about today. And I hope you will. And I thank you for staying with us. I hope you'll stay with us until we end this tragedy that has lasted for our entire history, but has gotten worse and worse over the last 40 years. We can do this as long as we stay connected, we stay energized, we remember who we're doing it for, and we never, ever, ever get satisfied with having people living on the streets of America. So I thank you very much, and I look forward to doing this again. And please do what you can in whatever way you can, in whatever sphere of influence you have to change the world and end homelessness. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you, Donald. Thank you, everybody else.
Donald, NCH.
Bless you.
And
Thank
Martin,
you. Bye.